a few hours before I left the country forever. I covered my billionaire cheating husband's mansion with shocking evidence of his secret affair, and the moment he walked back in, he was left speechless, his breath caught, and his entire life changed forever. It was a cold morning last October. My flight was scheduled to leave JFK at 7:40 p.m., and I was standing in the main hall of my own mansion, hanging the last photograph on the wall. The photo showed my husband Nathan Caldwell with his secret mistress, Brooke Harper. They were standing outside a private clinic in Boston, smiling. Brooke was holding an ultrasound file, and Nathan had his hand resting on her stomach. I taped a small note beneath the picture. "Congratulations on the baby, Nathan. I hope the board likes the nursery plans too." At 3:15 p.m. I locked the entire mansion, placed my suitcase in the SUV, and looked back at the house one last time. At 5:02 p.m. Nathan came home. My security cameras recorded everything. He opened the front door, took 2 steps inside, then stopped. His eyes moved from one wall to another. The color drained from his face. Brooke walked in behind him and whispered, "Oh my God, Nathan." Nathan didn't answer. Because there weren't just photographs inside that house. His entire life had been laid out in front of him. None of this had started in a single day. In January 2021, when I married Nathan, everyone said I was lucky. He was the CEO of Caldwell Ventures, living in Westchester near New York with luxury cars, a huge mansion, private dinners and charity galas. Before the wedding, my father told me once, "Claire, money does not make a man honest." I laughed and said, "Dad, he loves me." Dad looked at me but said nothing. The first 6 months of our marriage were genuinely beautiful. Every Friday night he brought me flowers. We took long drives to Connecticut. He remembered exactly how I liked my coffee. Then little by little everything changed. In August 2022 he said for the first time, "You should talk less at company dinners. People think you're sweet, not business-minded." I stayed quiet. At Thanksgiving dinner in November 2022 he joked in front of his mother, "Claire is great at decorating. Numbers aren't really her thing." Everyone laughed. I laughed too. That same night I sat in the basement office looking through his charity account files. Maybe numbers weren't supposed to be my thing, but you don't need a Harvard degree to recognize fraud. In March 2023, Brooke joined our company as the new brand partnerships consultant. Blonde hair, calm voice, expensive perfume. Nathan told me, "She's sharp. Don't be insecure." I asked, "When did I ever say I was insecure?" Still looking at his phone, he replied, "It's written all over your face." That month, Nathan started coming home late. Sometimes it was a board dinner, sometimes an investor call, sometimes a business trip to Chicago. But the credit card statements told a different story. On the day he claimed he was in Chicago, he had dinner for 2 in Manhattan. On the night of the so-called investor call, a hotel suite had been booked. One night in July 2023 I finally asked him, "Are you seeing Brooke?" He laughed. "You sound crazy." I answered, "Just answer the question." He placed his glass of water on the table and quietly said, "Claire, be careful. No one believes a dramatic wife." That sentence stayed with me. In December 2023 my mother became seriously ill. I spent 2 weeks in Denver. Nathan called every day, but every conversation ended quickly. "Board issue. Lawyer waiting. I'll call you back." When I returned, the drawer on my side of the master bedroom had been reorganized. My belongings were still there, but everything had been moved. There was also a faint lipstick mark on the dressing table. It wasn't my shade. I didn't say a word that night. In April 2024, I found Brooke's name on a hospital billing document. She had been added to Caldwell Ventures' executive medical plan as a dependent. Relationship. Domestic partner. I printed the document, placed it inside a folder and named it. For later. In June 2024 my father passed away. At the funeral, Nathan kept his hand on my shoulder and acted like the perfect husband in front of everyone. The moment we got into the car he said, "Your father never liked me." Without looking at him I replied, "He understood you." Nathan laughed. Same thing. That night I emailed a divorce attorney. In August 2024 I met my lawyer Marilyn Reed in her small Manhattan office. I placed the folder on her desk. She reviewed the first 10 pages, removed her glasses and said, "Claire, this isn't just an affair." "What is it?" "Exposure. Financial, legal, corporate. If you handle it correctly. I didn't make my decision that day. A small part of me still hoped Nathan would tell the truth himself. Maybe one honest conversation could still save a marriage. But everything ended on September 18, 2024. That afternoon I was inside the pantry while Nathan and Brooke walked into the kitchen. They thought I was upstairs. Brooke asked, "She still doesn't know about the baby?" Nathan replied, "She knows something. Not enough." Brooke continued, "And the house." Nathan answered, "After she leaves for Denver next month, I'll push the settlement. She'll take the money and disappear." Brooke laughed. "You make it sound easy." Nathan smiled. "Claire is soft. She always folds." I stood silently inside the pantry behind the canned tomatoes, barely breathing. At 6:30 p.m. that evening I called Marilyn. I simply said, "I'm ready." She asked only one question. "How far do you want to go?" "All the way." For the next 3 weeks I made no scene. I cooked dinner. I attended charity galas with Nathan. I smiled politely at Brooke. One evening Nathan even said, "You seem better." I answered, "Yes. Everything is finally clear now." He didn't understand what I meant. During the first week of October, Marilyn obtained the property records from the county office. The mansion belonged to both of us. Nathan had added my name after our marriage for tax purposes. He never imagined I would actually read the paperwork. On October 9th, the forensic accountant sent me a spreadsheet. Nathan had paid Brooke's apartment rent, medical bills, travel expenses, and jewelry using company funds. There was evidence of investor money being misused as well. If the board found out, he wouldn't remain CEO. On October 12th, I took screenshots of Brooke's baby registry. Due date: February 2025. Father's initials: Pinky. On October 14th, I ordered 186 large photographs from a print shop. Hotels, clinics, restaurants, airport lounges, baby stores, apartment entrances. Each photo included the date, time, receipt, and transaction ID. The girl at the counter smiled and asked, "Big event?" "Yes." "A farewell." On the morning of October 15th at exactly 8:10 a.m., Nathan left with Brooke for her prenatal appointment. He texted me, "Board brunch. Don't wait for me." I replied, "Sure." At 8:42 a.m. I gave the cleaning staff the day off. At 9:15 a.m. I called the security company and asked them to keep the indoor cameras recording. At 9:40 a.m. I started hanging the photographs. Clinic photos in the foyer. Hotel receipts in the dining room. Text message screenshots along the staircase. Brooke's insurance documents inside the master bedroom. And the largest photograph of all: Nathan sitting shirtless on Brooke's apartment balcony drinking coffee. On his office desk I left 3 envelopes. The first contained divorce papers. The second contained the board investigation packet. The third contained copies of the complaints already sent to the IRS and the state attorney general. At 1:20 p.m. I created a group text. Recipients: Nathan, his mother, the chairman of the board, HR counsel, Brooke, Marilyn. I wrote, "By 5 p.m., Nathan will see what everyone else should have seen long ago. Documents attached. Do not contact me directly. All communication through my attorney." Then I pressed send. Nathan called me at 1:23 p.m. I didn't answer. He called again at 1:24 p.m. At 1:26 p.m. his message arrived. "What the hell is this?" 1 minute later Brooke texted, "Claire, please don't do this." I put my phone on silent. At 3:15 p.m. I left the house. At 4:05 p.m., I was sitting in the airport lounge. My coffee had gone cold. My hands hadn't shaken once. At exactly 5:02 p.m., the security camera recorded Nathan walking inside. He froze. He pulled one photo from the wall. Then another. He ran into his office. Opened the envelopes. Read the documents. The veins in his neck became visible. Brooke was crying. "Nathan, fix this." Nathan shouted, "Shut up." It was the first time I had ever seen him panic. At 5:19 p.m. the chairman of the board called. He didn't call Nathan. He called me. I didn't answer. Marilyn did. At 5:42 p.m., Nathan left a voicemail. "Come home. We can talk. You don't understand what you're doing." I didn't delete the message. I forwarded it to Marilyn. At 6:10 p.m., Nathan's mother texted me. "This is private family business." For the first time I replied, "No. Fraud is not family business." At exactly 7:40 p.m. my plane took off. I wasn't running away from the country. I was simply leaving that house, that man, and that fake life forever. I was flying to Lisbon, where my father's sister lived, and where a small apartment had already been waiting for me. The next morning, October 16th, Marilyn updated me. Nathan had been placed on emergency leave by the board. The CFO had launched an internal audit. HR had suspended Brooke. Several brokerage accounts had been frozen. Nathan emailed me the same day. "Claire, you're destroying me." I never replied. On October 21st, the board officially removed him as CEO. On October 28th, the local business newspaper published the headline, "Caldwell Ventures CEO removed amid financial misconduct review." In November, Brooke moved into her own apartment. I learned that from Marilyn because Brooke's attorney later demanded medical support during settlement negotiations. Now Nathan was fighting with her too. On Thanksgiving 2024, I sat in my aunt's small dining room in Lisbon eating roasted fish instead of turkey while rain tapped against the windows. For the first time, nobody asked me where Nathan was. In December, the divorce settlement still wasn't final. But the temporary court order protected my share. The mansion was listed for sale. Nathan had to use his personal assets to cover the company's losses. His mother sent me a long email saying I had destroyed their family. I forwarded it to Marilyn. "Do I need to answer?" She replied, "No. Enjoy your morning." Today it is July 2026. I no longer live anywhere near Boston. I have a small apartment in Lisbon with white walls, blue tiles, and 2 plants on the balcony. Every morning I walk to buy coffee. No chauffeur. No fake charity dinners. No man who thinks calling me soft means he can buy my silence. Nathan is still buried under lawsuits. He lost the mansion. He lost the company. He lost his reputation. Brooke gave the baby her own last name. I learned that from the county filing. Strange. In the end, even she didn't want the Caldwell name. Sometimes people ask me, "Do you regret it?" No. I simply did to him what he had planned to do to me. The only difference, he wanted to erase me quietly. I made sure the whole world read his story instead.